Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matty here at mixandmastermysong.com. Today we're going to be going over Overloud's tape desk, which is kind of a cool play on the whole tape machine. You know, I know there's a lot of different tape machine emulation plugins out there, but what they did is they created the console and the tape desk and the tape machine all in one program. So essentially, it's like if you were recording on a console, going to tape and then coming back in the master out of the console. So it basically does the whole chain of the tape and console emulation. And unlike some of the other plugins that are tape emulations, where sometimes it's a little like you hear it, but it's more of like a warmth effect, or it's a little bit more subtle. This thing, you really hear the sound, which is cool, because I don't usually use tape emulation to emulate tape. I use it to glue things and make things warmer and control dynamics too. So what we'll do is we'll go through a couple different examples of this and show you guys how to use it. Really quick before we get started, if you can, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps for me to make these videos and get them out to you. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. So here we are. This is the plugin. So basically what you have is, here's the input, the mic pre-input. It goes to the tape machine right here, as you can see, obviously. And then out of that into this master bus, which is the master output. It's got VU and PPM meters. This is the trim. So this is the gain, basically, of your signal into the tape machine. This is to turn the mic pre on. The tolerance is a little added drift they added, because, you know, with analog components, it's not always 100% like perfect like it is in the computer. So the tolerance is like a little added drift. It's pretty subtle, and I haven't found much use for it. Here's the tape machine. So you have a basic input and output. What's really cool, and I wish all the tape emulations did this, is they have a link. So the more you drive it, the playback level gets turned down, so you can actually hear what it's doing as opposed to just making things louder. You have input and output for the meters. Once again, VU and PPM. This is on and off, so if you want to just maybe use the console but not the tape, you can turn just the tape machine off. These are the different tape speeds. Now, what you'll find is 30 IPS is faster. It's the fastest tape speed that was used back when we used tape. 15 was another one, and then 7.5. So what you'll find is the faster tape speed, the higher the fidelity. So the more highs you'll get, and the cleaner, it's a cleaner sound, basically. 15 and then 7.5 starts getting a little more grungy. You start losing some of your highs, but it's a nice bump in the bass usually, and can really be great on drum buses and low-end instruments like bass and kick and stuff like that. Bias is interesting. So what bias was the ultrasonic signal that they would send to help the magnetic tape work better back in the day. And so there's two different biases. There's normal, and then a lot of people used to over bias. So it's kind of cool that you have those two options. Wow and flutter, another thing from the tape days that wasn't actually something anyone wanted, but it would kind of make the sound wobble a bit. And flutter, I guess you could say, is a good actual term for it. And so you can turn that up and down if you want that effect. I don't usually want that effect, but I will show you guys once we get into some examples what it does. And then finally, this is your output signal. You can turn it on and off. This turns the mic pre on and off as well. So this turns the whole console section of the plugin on and off. And then here is where you pick the console you want. So what they have is 3 different consoles to choose from. S4000, an 80, and a T88. I'll let you guys figure out what these are. You could probably guess what these are, though, just by doing a little bit of research. So let's run through this. We got this drum. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to load. I went through some of these presets, and because a lot of them are a little loud compared to on and off when you bypass. So I've actually reset a lot of the presets in here so that the gain is matched a lot closer. So when we actually turn it on and off, we'll hear the effect with gain matched. So this is a song by my buddy Zach Stelner called Newsfeed. You can get it on Spotify, so make sure to check him out. And so here is we're just going to loop the drums first, and then we'll do the bass and maybe check out some vocals. So that's just the drum loop, not really too mixed, just, pretty much straight drums. So I'm going to turn it on while it's playing so you guys can hear the difference. So you can hear it. It gets darker. It gets a little warmer. It gets a little more glued. The dynamics are pulled together, and it just really gives the drums a really nice sound. I dig it. I've been using this a ton. I've had this for a few weeks. I've been using it a ton on drum buses and my vocal buses. So this is one of the settings I go to. Well, I'll play you. There's another one, this fat drums, that sounds good. So that's even more dramatic than the light drum one, and you can see the difference here is a lot of it has to do with the tape speed. Watch, this is a 7.5, and then if you go to this one, it's 15. So a little even less high end on this one, right? And then it switches to the T88 mic pre, and this is the S4000 SSL, if you haven't figured it out yet. So let me go through some of the settings here and let you guys hear kind of what some of these other things do. So what's really cool is you can really drive this thing. You can drive the tape, and it gives it quite a sound. So I'm going to play with the tape speed a bit, the bias, and then the wow and flutter, just so you guys can kind of hear the difference between them. Really love that tape. It really crunches things up, or just makes it, nice and warm. So let's go through the others now. Really pay attention to the hi-hats and the snare when I switch back and forth from 7.5 to 30. You'll hear a really big difference. Bias a little more subtle. Now wow and flutter, you'll definitely hear this. Check out the hi-hats. That's where you're going to hear it the most on this loop. So things get a little wow and fluttery. That's always been great terms to me of what this actually does. So, like I said, this can be cool on some effects. Maybe like trying to get some sort of weird little modulation on a guitar or a keyboard. I'm not a big fan of it on drums. And then finally, this is the output stage, which is really straightforward. You can turn it on and off, as we already went over, and then pick your console emulation you want to use. All right, so let's move on and check out. I got this it's a synth bass. And so let's turn off. So pretty cool. It really thickens things up, livens the bass up. This thing's great for like sterile synths and synth basses. It can really just give it some energy and just help it push through the mix a bit more. A lot of this stuff is just subtle stuff, but we have so many things that are keyboards now from in the box that never really been analog or anything. Giving it just some warmth from something like this can really make a difference in helping it, thicken it up in the mix and stand out, but not be the star of the show necessarily. So I really like what you hear in the bass with the drums and the bass going, and I'll turn it on and off. It almost sounds more of a dramatic difference than just soloed. It's like sucks the life out when you turn it off. Really great on bass and low end instruments. So finally, let's just run down to one of the vocals here. Okay. So this is the other use I've been using it on. I usually stick this on my vocal bus. If you've seen any of my videos, I usually have a vocal bus. And I've been sticking this on the vocal bus, using this vocal warmer and then changing the settings a bit. And it really just helps kind of like, when vocals get a bit too harsh, especially now with a lot of people recording at home, you get a lot of harsh vocals. So it can really kind of just tame that down, give them a little more warmth, a little more thickness that can really help in a mix. So let me just play this for a minute with and without.
My whole life's on a recline, and I was raised on the south side. My whole life's on a recline, and I was raised on the south side. My whole life's on a recline, and I was raised on the south side.
So you can hear it really makes a difference. Like the sibilant stuff, I think there's a more sibilant part here.
Snows in the sunshine, girl.
The sunshine.
Where it snows in the sunshine, girl. Where it snows in the sunshine, girl. Where it snows in the sunshine. Where it snows in the sunshine, girl.
Just takes that edge off. It's subtle, and it's not gonna like do it like a de-esser would, but it definitely takes an edge off. And I found it, super valuable for vocals. So hope you dig that. It's a really cool plugin. It took me a few weeks after getting it to find the best uses for it. And I'm sure there's a million others, but this is kind of where I've ended up with the plugin and how I'm using it in my own mixes. So please, like I said, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you need your songs mixed or mastered, please hit me up at mixandmastermysong.com. Thanks.